Hi guys and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing Ride 4. Week 37 of the weekly challenges here today, and it's time for Laguna Seca on board the Suzuki GSX-R 750 SRAD RM. So the purpose of today's video around Laguna Seca is to help you guys learn and understand this track a little bit better, and also to see my braking markers so you can get the gold time within the 37th weekly challenge of Ride 4. So after the Andretti hairpin, we're going to go into the right hand side here. You're going to angle the bike to the right hand side and begin to brake before you see that final braking marker, nice and tight to the apex for turn 3, and then bring on the acceleration. You must avoid the rumble strip on that particular part just before turn 4 because it can be extremely treacherous and very bumpy. So try to avoid it at all costs if you can. But now braking for turn 5 for the left-hander, nice and tight to the apex, or you can go a little bit wide. I'll show you both ways later on. Now keep an eye on the bridge here because this is your marker, perfect for using as a braking guide. Make sure you go before the actual bridge itself. That shadow on the floor is a great indication of when to brake. Now use this left-hand side rumble strip as a braking marker. Now pretty much braking at the end of that rumble strip on the left-hand side will give you an optimal line going into the corkscrew and a nice amount of firm braking. So now onto the left hand side for the rainy curve. I never truly find a position I want to be in for the rainy curve, but I'll show you a means of ways of doing it. So coming out to turn 10, avoid the rumble strip there as well because it can be very treacherous as well. So on the left hand side now for turn 11, nice and tight apex, smooth on the acceleration here. You don't want to wheelie the bike, so make sure you're smooth coming on acceleration, get across the line, and that's your goal lap time. So that's number 1. Let's try lap number 2 now. Onto the left hand side, braking in the middle of those braking markers on the right hand side of your screen there. You see the second one and the first one on your right hand side. Brake between those ones and you should get it right going into the Andretti hairpin. Now, as mentioned in the lap prior, braking at that first or last braking marker going into the right hand of turn 3. Ignore the rumble strip but go near to it. Brake here in the shadow of that Michelin tyre and you should set yourself up for the nice right hander for turn 4. Get onto the right hand side and use the mother's sign above you as a braking marker as well. You can see where I went just before that shadow came to my peripheral vision. If you can get close to that but brake, you should make that corner every time. Same can be said here for this shadow, nice and early just before we enter it, and we're going into the left hander for turn 6. Perfectly done so far. So pay attention to the rumble strip on your left hand side. Rumble strip is here, it ends there, and then I'm going to brake for the left hander for turn 7. Nice and tight to the apex here, line it up in the middle and chuck it to the right hand side for the corkscrew, and you've tackled the most difficult part of Laguna Seca. So now on the left hand side for rainy curve for turn 9, run it a little bit wide here and begin to brake just at the end of that braking mark, as that third one, the final one there, will be enough. So make sure you brake before that one. And then going into turn 11, I'll give you the rundown on the next lap. But there you go, smooth acceleration coming out to turn 11. Once again, bring on the acceleration, get across the line, and we've improved. So I want you to pay attention to the bottom right corner of your screen there. You're going to see how much acceleration is being applied for turn 1. Very difficult corner to get right, but just reduce the throttle ever so slightly if you feel like the bike is going to wheelie. I wanted to push really hard in there to show you what might happen, and as you can see, the bike lifts up a little bit, so make sure you just reduce the throttle or even hit the rear brake ever so slightly just to reduce the speed. So now going into the Michelin sign, you see that we are still relatively close for the Ghost, even though we had that bit of a moment. So just continue to keep on doing what you do. Just because you're on a bad lap doesn't mean you should bin it. Always bear that in mind. Just because you're on a bad lap, it doesn't mean that you're going to completely fail. You might actually catch up the Ghost and improve your lap time. So onto the left hand side, using the shadow as a braking marker. Left hand side for 6, run it in nice and tight, following that thick black line. Look to your left hand side, rumble strip is there, begin to brake. Perfectly done. Now into the left hander for turn 7, nice and tight to the apex, touching the apex there, flicking it to the right, be careful of the wheelie, and now get into the left hander for the rainy curve. Now you can either go nice and tight, but by doing so it makes you a little bit prone to making a mistake, and then brake here just before that final braking marker. Now here for turn 11, as you're going to see, getting wild out of shape, brake here just after the second marker. Be careful of that rumble strip on the left and brake at the second marker for that particular corner. It's crucial that you brake there. Any later than that and you're probably going to miss the apex. So left hand side, reducing the throttle, just bouncing it around ever so slightly. Now getting on the left hand side for the turn 2 for the Andretti hairpin, running it a little bit wider to take that sort of V-shaped line going into Andretti hairpin. And now onto the right hand side, braking nice and smoothly for the right hander for turn 3. And now going nice and tight to the apex. A little bit eager on the acceleration there. You've seen the rider sort of jump a little bit. That's because I pushed in on the tuck-in button and accelerated just a bit too early. So be careful of doing that. Braking at the mother sign just before the shadow. Perfectly done. Now onto the left-hand side for turn 5. We went a little bit wide there because I didn't brake hard enough, but as you can see, still going very, very strong. Braking in the shadow for this one. Left-hand side for turn 6. On the rumble strip, that's absolutely fine. You can run it a little bit wide there, but be careful, because if you go too wide, you'll obviously invalid your lap. And now onto the left-hand side for turn 7. Nice and tight to the apex once again, nice and tight to the right apex for the bottom part of the corkscrew, and we've pretty much nailed it so far, up by 6.5 tenths of a second. Rainy curve to be navigated pretty nicely now. Final braking marker, brake there, bring it in nice and tight to the apex for turn 10, bring on the acceleration, avoid the rumble strip and brake at the second braking mark on your right hand side of your screen. Nice and tight to the apex for turn 11, smooth acceleration coming on here, make sure you're tucking in, make sure you're pushing forwards and get across the line to get yourself a nice gold lap time. So that's it for my lap times here in Laguna Seca. I've done the 4 and hopefully that's enough to show you guys and give you a good indication of what to do here in Laguna Seca. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope these lap times will help you. If you want to follow my Ghost on PC, by all means go ahead. If that helps, use it. For me, not a big fan of the Ghost, but it's entirely up to you. So there's a look at the leaderboards as time being. I did start this quite early, as you can see, only 2 hours into it, so I do have the top spot. No doubt one of you guys will come in and kick me off that top spot. But for now, guys, I hope this video has helped you. Let me know in the comment section if it has. Consider liking the video if you enjoyed it, and hit subscribe to see a lot more Ride 4, MotoGP 21 and MXGP content that always comes every single day. So upon that note, guys, thanks for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao for now.
Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.